What's up, y'all? Let's do this. Oh, hi guys, welcome to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host, and today, guys, we gotta talk about the student loan forgiveness thing that Joe Biden is pushing, which to me, I think it's more the Democrat elites and the communist Democrats are pushing. But before we go any further, guys, if you guys love Nikki's World so much, seriously, guys, please consider donating a cup of coffee for me, because for a price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, and Cumberland Farms, guys, you guys help keep this podcast show alive. You guys help me curate more stories, more topics like this to talk about. I do accept Bitcoin donations. I'm also on Locals, guys, if you guys want to support and sponsor this podcast show. If you guys love Nikki's World so much, please hit that like, subscribe, please give me a review, good, bad, and the ugly. And before we get this show on the road, literally, guys, if you guys love this episode and any of my other episodes on Nikki's World, please consider sharing this across all the social media platforms that are out there today. Whew. All right, guys. All right. Got through all the show formalities. It's always sometimes a pain in the butt to get through those formalities, but they are there for a reason, okay? So today I just want to talk to you about the student loan deal, okay? That the one that Joe Biden is pushing, all right? Why it's a double-edged sword, and in my opinion, it's basically like a good and a bad. But I'm gonna break it down for y'all so you can see how it all will work out. But in reality, I think like this, it should be another way that should work out, and I have my suggestions and solutions to this, so I'll talk about that and more. All right. So before we get the show going, guys, it's hump day. It's another day at work. You know what I mean? It's another day, and as always, guys, I'm always in my diapers. You know what I mean? So that's never gonna change, except for a diaper change, of course. So that's always gonna be there. So that's that, all right? So let's talk about that student loan thing. Earlier today, Joe Biden, or the president in name only, which I call him the Pino, announced that he's going to forgive whole swaths of this country's student loans up to $10,000. Okay, and then if you got Pell Grants too, that's another $10,000. So that's $20,000 he's going to forgive to everyone that had student loans. Okay, so the student loan debt that you have is going to get transferred to someone else, pretty much, which which means AKA the fucking taxpayers. Alright? And I'll mind you guys, I went to college myself, so I have student loan debt. So my student loan debt tops into the $90,000. Okay? So, yeah, I do hold student loan debt and I have to pay. But because I don't have a good paying job to pay it, it's getting harder to figure out how to pay for it. Okay? So, the thing is with student loan debt, this is where I tend to agree and disagree, and I sit on the fence on this issue because I think like this. Yeah, everybody should have a chance to go to college, but here's my take on that. Government shouldn't be funding like for every major, okay? Now, people go to college and take stupid bullshit majors like gender studies, women's studies, or any other studies or art studies that don't translate to a job out in the real world, or don't help the economy. Okay? So my take on this is quite simple. The government should not be funding college unless you can justify and say, yes, this is going to help me when I get out, get into the working world, and I get a good paying job, okay? My take on this is that if you're going to go to college and major something that is not going to be useful out in the working world, then you shouldn't have the government pay for it. You should literally be like this, paying for it by yourself. Yeah, you should. You shouldn't have the taxpayers pay for your like art major or gender studies major or music major or LGBTQ crap major. Yeah, we the taxpayers shouldn't be funding that. In my opinion, if we're going to fund it, we should be funding for degrees that translate to a job out in the workforce. Like, say, for example, we would have a disclaimer and say, we will forgive your student loans if you go into a major that is in demand and that we need in the workforce right off the rip. Okay? We would do it. I would be okay with that. I would be okay for forgiving student loans for anyone who is going into a profession that is in demand, that the government deems that is vital. Okay? I would go for that because you know why? Here's my take on all this, is that right now we have professions that are highly sought after, that are highly needed. We have professions right now that are basically in demand, that it is sought after. Okay? And a lot of these majors are STEM majors, are science, engineering, technology, and math majors. We have in-demand majors. Yeah, I know a lot of conservatives will say, why math? Well, math is part of engineering, because you do need mathematicians to calculate, like say if you're going to build a nuclear submarine, or you're going to build like say a nuclear power plant, you need the math to calculate those stuff. You really do. Okay? So that's why STEM majors, okay, like science, technology, engineering, math, those are the majors I would fully support, like giving student loan forgiveness to. Okay? I would. Now, if you got someone who's majoring in gender studies or queer studies, I'd be like this. Fuck you. Fuck off. You're on your own. We're not paying for it. We're not forgiving it. Pretty much. I would pretty much be like that. I would pretty much be like that in a heartbeat. Yeah. I would not forgive student loans to anyone who majored in women's studies, gender studies, or what's the other one? LGBTQ, queer studies? No, I wouldn't. But you know what? In my take, I would forgive student loans to anyone that serves in the government. I don't care what you do in the government. You could be a public works worker for the state. That could be constituted as student loan forgiveness because you're serving the government. Okay? I would forgive student loans to anyone who serves in the local, county, state, and federal government. Those 4 entities. If you serve in those areas, your student loans would be forgiven right off the bat. You'd be like, okay, the amount of years you work for the government until you retire, that's your student loans were wiped off the map. Simple as that. Now, for the people who serve in, say, police, fire, and EMS, your student loans should automatically be forgiven because you serve the community and you can be called up for any public health emergency. Yeah, I would be all for that too. Okay, I would be for in a huge way. I would. All right. Now, if you served in organizations like federally chartered organizations like the Civil Air Patrol and the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary, I would forgive your student loans right off the bat. I would say the amount of years and the amount of time that you put in to serving the country, your student loans would automatically be forgiven. I would do that. The reason why I tie this to JFK's ideas of national service, of serving your country. I would tie that. Now I know a lot of Democrats wouldn't like the JFK, like the Kennedys, because the Kennedys are Democrat, but today's Democrats are more like communists, and JFK today would be a Republican, in my opinion. But hear me out, guys. Hear me out on this one. I would tie it with national service. Okay? I would tie it with saying like this. Okay, you serve in the Peace Corps. You serve in the AmeriCorps. You serve in like the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary, the Civil Air Patrol. Okay? You do all those things for the benefit of the government. So in return, we would forego your student loans. We would forgive that, and I would be A-okay. I would be A-okay with that, you know, because I would be like okay with forgiving your student loans. I would. I really would be for it. But the fact of the matter is like this, guys. The fact of the matter is, Democrats want to forgive student loans for their rich buddies, but the people that they claim that they're supporting and helping, they don't want to forgive that. So they're gonna sit there and go, oh yeah, we'll forgive student loans for people like this. We'll forgive student loans for these people. We'll forgive it for them. But in reality, why do you think they're only going to give $10,000 as opposed to the $50,000 that Pocahontas wanted? Why? Why was that $10,000 was a compromise? And that $10,000, if you took a Pell Grant with it, which probably total $20,000. Why didn't they go for the full 50? Why? Why didn't they? But here's my take on this. Because you know why? It was a harder sell. It was like this. $50,000 that Pocahontas wanted was a lot harder sell to Biden and basically to the Democrats. Now you have some like moderate Democrats who are probably going to say no, but it was a harder sell for them, so they couldn't sell it to the moderate Democrats at $50,000. So instead, they had to lower it to be able to sell this idea to basically like moderate Democrats, the moderates, the ones that sometimes will side with Republicans, sometimes they won't. So they had to find a way how to sell this to them, like without jeopardizing their base. And coincidentally, guys, let's take a look at this. Why is it that the Pino and Joe Biden coming out with the student loan forgiveness in the middle of a midterm election? Why is that, guys? Take a moment to think about this. Why would the president come out with such a harebrained idea like this in the midst of a midterm election, knowing that his poll numbers are sinking faster than the Titanic? Okay, his party is so hated that people are like running away in droves and running into the arms of the Republican Party. Why is it? Because you know why? The only people who left that the Democrats are pandering are the college-educated folks. And they're pandering to that base in order to shore up whatever support they have left. So the college-educated base, majority votes Democrat. So if you can give that college age what it wants, they're guaranteed a shoe-in for votes. Now, how that's going to help them is anyone's guess. It's more likely not going to help them win elections, but it's more likely gonna make them like go, oh yeah, we got the college vote, because the college vote will vote for us because we're going to give them what they want. Pretty much, guys. Pretty much this is where we're headed right now. They're pandering to the college-educated voters, okay, who traditionally vote Democrat, all right? So they want to pander to these people because they know that they're not going to win an election, but they know that by getting their votes, they're locking them in by saying, okay, we'll cancel your student loan debt if you vote for us. That's the scheme that Democrats are pulling here, folks. That is the grand scheme of things. If you can't see through, if you can't put 2 plus 2 together, then I don't know what to say to y'all. But that is the scheme of things. They are basically, ladies and gentlemen, they're basically using, okay? They're basically using college-educated voters to grift off and then basically pander them for votes. Basically, Biden and the Democrats are grifting. They're doing grand grifting on a grand scale. That's what they're doing, folks. Let's be honest. They're desperate to win. They're desperate to stay in power. They've lost the black and Hispanic vote, and they lost the Asian vote. They lost the middle class vote. So what's left? The college-educated voting bloc. So what better way than to grift and pander to them by saying, "Oh yeah, we'll cancel your student loans if you vote for us and vote Democrat." That's what's happening here, folks. They are grifting like no tomorrow. This is grand grifting on a grand scale. It is. I hate to say this to y'all. It's grifting like you never seen it. Okay, folks? It is grifting like no tomorrow. It is, folks. It really is. But I'll say this, guys. I'll say this. To me, as an independent, I believe like this. Student loan debts should be canceled up to, let's say half. Let's say like $50,000. We'll cancel it as long as you serve the community. As long as you do this and this and this. You know what a better way to do? Just use the IRS to collect like repayments from taxpayers by saying like this: oh, you work to pay taxes now? Guess what? Your tax dollars is going back to paying the student loan, a portion of it. So they're going to calculate that portion and say, okay, we're going to take like 5% out of your income tax to pay for your student loans. Simple as that. I would do it that way. Because if you look at it like this, let's say on your statement, you know how when you get a paycheck, you get a statement that says how much taxes they took out. I say the government should have that option too of taking it out on when you pay your tax, when you have to pay your taxes. That way you get the people to pay off their student loans. But you do it by saying, oh, we're just going to tax you to take it all out to pay for your student loans. I would agree to that. I would totally agree to that. I would, in a heartbeat. I would say, yeah, let's do it like that. Let's say, hey, if you want your student loans paid off, either serve the government or do some type of service for the government, or just sign a paper saying that they'll take the taxes out of me to pay for my student loans. Quite easily, quite a good option here, folks. I would agree to that option in a fucking heartbeat. I would, guys. I really, really would. Okay? So that's why I would agree to that option. And that'd be something I'd be okay with. Alright? I would. I really would. But before we go, guys, I do want to talk about Facebook, aka Fascist Book. Alright? The reason why I'm not on Facebook that often, guys, is because they're fucked up policies. They're policies that are so fucked up, so stupid, that it defies logic and reasoning. Okay? I'll give you a fucking example, guys. I'll give you an example. I was on Facebook a couple of times, okay? I shared something from my Facebook group on my Facebook page. For some reason, their so-called fucked up algorithm says, oh no, you shared something that's nudity, that showed this and this and this. How is it nudity when someone is doing a rope suspension with a bra and panty on? Their algorithms are fucked up. Their logic, the reasoning is all stupid. So it's like this. So for a trans identified female did the same thing and posted it on Facebook and somebody shared it, would that get taken down as well? Or is it that because it's a biological woman and she had like a bra and a panty and was doing rope suspension, and I shared it and it got taken down, and then I got a 30-day suspension from that site? It's fucked up, really. It is. It's fucked up. And it's why I don't use Facebook that much anymore. I don't even go on it anymore. I don't. The only time I use Facebook is just for Messenger, just to message me, or if my family wants to show me something. That's about it. But if I want to talk all my politics and all my other crap and bullshit and show off stuff that would not be allowed on Facebook, I would use my alternative social media platforms like Gab, MeWe, Minds, Parler, Rumble, Getter, you know what I mean, and Vero. I would use those because Facebook, for some reason, is getting fucked up. And mind you, they are hurting the people that were on it from the beginning. How is this logical for them? How is it? How is it logical? How does it make any sense? How? To me, it's fucked up. To me, it's like, yeah, that's fucked up right there. That really is. But to me, I look at it like this. This is why people like me are gravitating away from Facebook. People like me are leaving Facebook in droves. We're getting away from them and going to alternative social media platforms because we can't tolerate their bullshit. We can't tolerate their stupidity. We can't tolerate their crap. We just can't. I'm sorry, we can't anymore. Yeah. We can't tolerate the bullshit. You know? So that's why, like me, I have alternative social media platforms. And every time Facebook puts me in their so-called Facebook jail, I just laugh at them in their fucking face and go and stick my middle finger at them and go, screw you, fuck you, and I don't give a shit if you block me for 30 days because you know why? I don't give a shit because I have my alternative social media sites like Gab, MeWe, Minds, Parler, Rumble, Getter, Truth Social, and Vero. I have my alternatives. So I don't have to, I laugh at them in their face. So that's why I go like this. Giving me a 30-day suspension on Facebook does nothing to me. Makes me laugh at them. Makes me go, ha, 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 ha. Because I still have my alternative social media platforms and I can post stuff freely without fear of being blocked, suspended, deplatformed, or kicked off their platform. I don't have to worry about that ever again. Nah, I don't, folks. I really, really don't. And that's a fucking good thing about that. That really is. And that's why I'm not worried. Nope, and no. Nah. I don't worry. I don't. The only thing I do worry is that I don't have a big enough presence on my alternative social media platforms, and some of my users are still on Facebook. You know what I mean? They're still on Facebook, Twitter, you know what I mean? Instagram, WhatsApp, and the other one like Twitter. They're on those. So that's why I go like this. I'm glad I have my alternative social media ecosystem because I can say shit and post shit that Facebook would never allow. And Facebook would be like, oh no, you're blocked, suspended, 30 days, goodbye. No appeal, no nothing. I'd be like this to them. Fuck you, ha. It's like this, don't give a shit. And this is why I have often said this, ladies and gentlemen. Get away from these platforms. These leftist, egotistic, insane platforms. Get away from them. Get away from these places. Because you know why? These places do nothing for you. These places treat you like shit. Okay? These platforms don't even care about your rights. Don't even care about your freedoms. They don't. That's why I say like this. Get away from these people as much as you can. Just get away from them. Because the sooner you can get away from these people, the fucking better it is. Alright? And that's why it's like this. If you can get away from these people, that'd be great. Because you know why? You don't have to deal with their bullshit. You don't have to deal with their crap. And I for one, like this, am glad I have my alternative social media platforms. Even Truth Social, I'm glad that I can post shit that Facebook wouldn't allow, that Instagram would have me blocked for. And you know the funny thing is too, even on Instagram, even if you wanted to say stuff that like you want to say to your heart, Instagram will say, "Oh no, what you're gonna post will violate our community standards." And it's like, fuck you. That's why I got away from that. I got away from all that shit. And that's why I always implore my listeners, if you get a chance, get away from like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Get away from them. Go to these alternative social media ecosystems, because they are a lot better, they're a lot safer, and they're a lot saner for y'all. Okay? So that's why it's like this. If you can get away from these, that'd be great. Alright? But if you can't, have these alternatives as a backup. Because one day they could come for you and they can cancel you right off the bat. They really can, guys. So that's why I implore all my listeners, guys, escape these leftist platforms and go to these alternative platforms where we value you and we value freedom of speech, okay? So anyway, guys, thanks for listening to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host, and I hope to see y'all soon. And y'all have a good day. Bye for now.